Hello. Hi. I came across a recent study which suggested that 44% of the population are currently suffering under these lockdown measures. Of this group, 93% reported feeling more anxious and depressed, and 64% said they were losing sleep. Now, I don't know about you and where you normally sit on the anxiety scales, from a chilled out up to a more anxiety-fueled but I think most of us will have popped up a notch or two over the last few weeks. And if you haven't, perhaps you should be doing this talk, because I know I have. Peace is the third of our studies into the fruit of the Spirit from Galatians 5. And we've already heard from Rod and Ian about love and joy, and how the fruit is an outworking of the Holy Spirit in our lives. So as an apple tree can produce only apples, so if we live in the Spirit, then this fruit, including peace, will be an outflowing of that life. And the Message Bible uses the word serenity here for peace, and the Passion Translation says a peace that subdues. But I think it's far deeper than that. Several years ago, an art gallery ran a competition to paint a picture of peace. Now, what do you think you would paint for peace? What images come to mind? So many paintings were submitted with sunsets over beaches, pastures, trees, lakes and mountains, but none of these won. The winner was a painting of a storm, with flashes of lightning, dark stormy clouds, and winds blowing trees over a rocky cliff. And in a cleft of that cliff sat a mother eagle on a nest, with her wings outstretched, protecting her sleeping chicks. That is the very essence of peace. So living in peace is not the absence of storms or turmoil in our lives, but it's being tranquil under the shelter of God's wing. And we are living constantly with a high level of fear and stress. And if that's the case, we'll soon become overwhelmed. Our sleep will suffer and our mental health will decline. And you, and I here as well, are in desperate need of God's peace now, particularly in this time of global pandemic, economic uncertainty, lockdown, and so many other scary words. Paul says in Romans 8, "But letting the Spirit control our mind leads to life and peace." The word often translated as peace in our English Bibles is a translation of the Hebrew shalom and the Greek irene. Both these words have a far deeper meaning than the passive, warm, fuzzy serenity which we often think about when we think about peace. Shalom is a contemporary word. It affects our lifestyle, our lives, our attitudes. It's about bringing God's wholeness, His health, His healing, His well-being, and His justice into our lives, our homes, relationships, our families, communities, and the world. Shalom can be translated as a verb. It's a doing word. It's active and dynamic rather than static and passive. It's outward in direction rather than an interior feeling. And it's communal rather than personal. Jesus calls us to be peacemakers. And the New Living Translation says those who work for peace, or as Noel Mules likes to say, a shalom activist. This isn't easy. It requires effort. It may be a sacrifice. It causes us to be uncomfortable, in pain. It's inconvenient, and it may make us alter our preconceptions. But it's in striving for shalom that our lives, our families, and our communities, that we reflect the nature of God. Like the mother eagle sat on the edge of a nest in the storm, being buffeted by the wind and the rain, she provided peace and shalom for her chicks underneath her outstretched wings. to a great personal danger and discomfort, she was their peacemaker. So God is a God of peace. We are the people of peace, and our message is a gospel of peace. So that's what I want to leave you with today. And I want to finish with a prayer for peace for our lives today, tomorrow, and on into the future. And a prayer that that peace will be reflected into our communities. Thank you.